The Kansas City Chiefs have a huge advantage against the Buffalo Bills, and a lot of people are not believers in what I'm saying right now. But in this video, I'm going to give you numerous facts on why the Kansas City Chiefs have the upper hand and why they have the advantage against the Buffalo Bills. So Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have won 8 consecutive playoff games. That is the third longest playoff winning streak of all time. And obviously now Mahomes will have to go through a familiar foe to extend the streak to 9. So these are two really good football teams that's going up against each other, right? Like, we know that these teams both have great players on every level on both sides of the ball. I mean, they're well coached, and the Chiefs have been able to get the upper hand on them in the playoffs, and then the Bills have got the upper hand on them in the regular season. Usually every game is close. Now, Josh Allen, he is 4-1 in the regular season against the Chiefs. In Week 11, Allen ended us with a 26-yard touchdown run on 4th down that ended the undefeated streak. But Mahomes is 3-0 against Allen and the Buffalo Bills in the postseason, and one of the most memorable wins was obviously the 2021 divisional round matchup where we tied the ball game on a 13-second drive in the 4th quarter, and then we proceeded to win in overtime. So Mahomes is entering Sunday tied for second most postseason wins by a starting quarterback. He has the 5th most playoff touchdown passes with 42 and the 8th most postseason passing yards with 5,312. Obviously, the Kansas City Chiefs have the upper hand with the quarterback, and they have the advantage by a wide margin with the quarterback because, honestly, as good as Josh Allen is, Patrick Mahomes is just way better than him, and that's the honest truth. Mahomes has 918 passing yards with 8 touchdowns and no interceptions in 3 playoff contests versus Buffalo. So you know that Allen's going to come out there and play his best. But Patrick Mahomes, he always finds a way to play better. Now that we're done talking about Patrick Mahomes and the quarterback advantage, let's speak about why DeAndre Hopkins could be a big factor against the Buffalo Bills, and that puts the Buffalo Bills in trouble. So obviously, a key factor for Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense to perform their best is to figure out a way to get the ball to DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he's only caught 3 balls for 29 yards, and the team's Week 11 loss to Buffalo. And then if you look in the divisional round against the Texans, he was held without a catch. And Xavier Worthy was the only Chiefs wide receiver to record a catch against Houston. Now, obviously, I think of it as like a different, game plan for the Texans as opposed to like what we're going to do against the Bills. And the Chiefs, they play their cards right, Not to sound cocky, but we knew we was going to beat the Houston Texans. So we're not going to just let out everything against them, knowing we're going to just coast through them. But that's not going to be the case with the Buffalo Bills. The Kansas City Chiefs will have to back out their plays and their best plays against against the Buffalo Bills. And that's something that Andy Reid should be aware of, and I think he is. So Hopkins been in the NFL for 12 years. He's never played in an AFC Championship game, so this is a first for him. The 5-time Pro Bowler, he registered 41 receptions, 437 yards, and 4 touchdowns in 10 regular season games in a Chiefs uniform. We know that he has sure hands. Hopkins, he has a big catch radius, He's a great wide receiver, man. And we traded for him for moments like this. This is what Hopkins had to say about a chance to reach the Super Bowl. Quote, childhood dream. Quote, I played Madden growing up and always tried to get a Super Bowl in the game. So as a kid, that's a lifelong goal. That's what Hopkins had to say. So we know that Sunday will be the biggest game of Hopkins' career before he has the next biggest game of his career, which is the Super Bowl, obviously. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, they are well accustomed to the pressure. And the coach and the quarterback tandem have led the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game for 7 straight seasons. And a 3rd consecutive Super Bowl berth will require to beat a team that they know all too well. And that's another advantage that the Chiefs have. They just have the experience over the Buffalo Bills. I'm not saying the Buffalo Bills is inexperienced because the Bills definitely have experience, but the Chiefs just have coaching. And they just been in this moment way more than the Buffalo Bills. I mean, seven seasons straight, 7 AFC championships straight. The Chiefs took their 2 L's in the AFC championship already. I won't see it being a 3rd. They're not losing another AFC championship. Not this year. They wouldn't. They're not going to lose it this year. So you got to give me that advantage. The Chiefs have the coaching advantage over the Buffalo Bills, and no one should be arguing that. Andy Reid owns Sean McDermott. Now let's talk about the next matchup or the next advantage. And yeah, man, I mean, it's just like, like I said, man, I already talked about Patrick Mahomes. I already talked about the coaching. We're going to actually get back onto that. But something I haven't spoke about yet is just the defensive edge. Obviously, a few years back, right, the Bills had the craziest defense, right? They had the amazing defense. Trey White, Jordan Poyer, Micah Hyde, all those dudes, right? Now it's the Kansas City Chiefs with the terrifying defense. There's no area that you could really point out and say this defense has this bad. This defense has this bad thing. This defense has this flaw that the Bills can exploit. There's nothing There's no area on our defense that the Bills can exploit. They may be more successful and doing certain things against the defense than other things, but they're not going to exploit anything. The defensive line is anchored. It's anchored by Chris Jones, but it's become even more scary with the emergence of George Karlaftis as a pass rusher. And then you have the linebacking duo of Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill, makes it even harder to run on the team if you could even get past the line of scrimmage. And then the secondary has amazing players like Trent McDuffie, Justin Reed, Jaden Hicks, and Jalen Watson. These are dudes who all excel at playing the ball in the air. Now, if you look statistically at the Chiefs' defense, it's clear to see why teams have struggled against them. I mean, they're 12th in the NFL in passing touchdowns allowed, 10th in the NFL in rushing touchdowns allowed, 14th in the NFL in first downs allowed, 12th in the NFL in average starting position. Now, none of those numbers are impressive in isolation, but when you combine all of those, the defense is 4th in the NFL in points allowed. The Chiefs have been a force on defense, and opponents have struggled all season to make explosive plays against them. So imagine taking a home run threat of the Bills. It will turn into a gritty game. And we know what the Chiefs do in those gritty games. They win it. Now I want to touch back on the coaching at least just one more time because, like I said, man, I got to bring up more than just Andy Reid. So like I said, man, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones, they are obviously amazing players. But none of it would be possible without Andy Reid and Steve Spags, It's not like just the experience that these coaches are bringing to the table in these type of games, but the fact that they're literally reinventing their game plan in order to counter what's happening on the field. That's what makes this team so dangerous. One of the most underrated traits that the Chiefs have is their ability to just pivot in the second half and literally find a new path forward that literally gets them to win. I mean, Mahomes, he has a career high 5 fourth quarter comeback wins this season to go along with another career high in 7 game winning drives. So obviously, it hasn't been a pretty season. It hasn't been an easy season. But literally, Andy Reid has been coaching this team out of a bunch of holes, So the Chiefs could always steal a win. It doesn't matter what happens in the first half because the Chiefs reinvent themselves at halftime. They throw out the game plan. They come out with totally different looks after the break. And that's something that, the Chiefs are just very, very good at. And then Patrick Mahomes, when we talk about him again, he's still Patrick Mahomes, Because Mahomes has had so many great, above average seasons that's not normal. Now, anything that he does now that's not the former him, I guess, in the regular season, now he's getting ridden off and he's being called wash. But obviously, he lost his wide receiver 1 and his wide receiver 2 in the beginning of the year. He's still adjusted, man, and the Chiefs are still 15-2, and they're now in the AFC Championship. You can't ever count out Patrick Mahomes. No matter how much he struggled this season or last season, he is still the best quarterback in the NFL. And he's going to prove that once again. Yeah, man. So, another thing, right? This is just something else, little intangibles at the end of the video, because I'm literally about to wrap this up. But I just want to say that Kareem Hunt is an X factor. He's going to be an X factor in this game, and he's someone you should be looking out for. They're still looking for their Russian identity this season, the Chiefs. I mean, injuries have prevented Isaiah Pacheco from capitalizing on his first 2 seasons. And without Kareem Hunt, I mean, what would we have really done? Kareem Hunt's the reason why we're even in the AFC Championship. So the fact that we signed him was big, man. It was big. In that Bills game when we went against them in Week 11, Hunt ran 14 times for 60 yards, and he repeatedly set things up with productive gains on first downs. So we could just keep. This is what we should do: keep handing the ball off to Kareem Hunt on first downs. Give him the ball. Let him eat. Let him eat, man. That's what we have to do. We have to hand the ball off to Kareem Hunt. So that's my X factor on offense. And then if I have to say my X factor on defense, it would definitely probably be Drew Tranquill. And the reason why I say it's going to be Drew Tranquill is due to the fact that he's going to have to really, really stop the run. I mean, last time we played Buffalo, they ran the ball 31 times for 104 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that's a game that that's the game that Spags want to forget. It was a nightmare for Tranquill. He missed tackles on each of James Cook's 2 touchdown runs. He was out of position on Josh Allen's 26-yard scramble. So I'm expecting a bounce-back game from Tranquill, and I believe he won't make this same mistake. And we will have to literally lock these dudes up. We have to lock these dudes up. We can't let them run down our throats because we will lose the game. Force Allen to pass. That's why us getting the ball and getting to a lead first and us scoring first is very, very important. And I think you could either argue whoever scores first wins this game. But if we score first, we're going to win the game. If the Bills score first, we still winning the game. So your boy Chiefs Priority, and I'm out.